Every one of these questions has been missed by an SAT student sitting on a 700 plus math score. And it's not because they're bad at math, it's because these questions punish you if you go on autopilot. I'm going to show you number 11 to 20 today and the exact move that cracks each one. Stick around for number 20. It's really difficult to solve by hand and it comes up often. If you're chasing a top math score, this series is your hardest rep gym. I've linked the doc in the description, just a heads up, so you can work alongside me during this video. And if you really like this series, we're only on episode 2, and you want to see more episodes, comment below and let me know. Otherwise, I might just stop doing them. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, we're on number 11. It is a conversion question. So a certain wildlife refuge has an area of 4.93 square miles. Which of the following is closest to the area in square yards of the refuge? When they give you a conversion and it's not in the units, like the dimensions that you need, like this is one dimensional, you need to convert it to square units or 2 dimensions. So I'm going to square both sides of this to get it in square miles. So 1 square mile equals 3,097,600 square yards. And then I can set up my conversion. So I have 4.93 square miles. Now, when I multiply, I need to put square miles on the bottom so that they cancel with each other. And I will put my square yards on top. Now, you don't even need to crunch numbers, use common sense. The only one that can get you what you need is D. So I'm picking D and moving on. All right, let's look at number 12. It says one of 2 equations in a system of linear equations is given. The system has no solution. So that means they're going to be parallel lines. So what you need is the same slope, different y-intercepts. So I know if I divide this whole equation by 7, I'm going to get the same slope, 15y. Oh my goodness. Do you guys see the trap here? I almost fell into it. They don't even have it in y equals mx plus b form. So here's another way you can go about this to make it easier on yourself. I would just use Desmos. We'll put this first equation in because I don't want to move stuff around. That's going to take forever. And then we'll put each equation in after that and just look for one that has parallel lines. All right, let me zoom out. So there's our first line. Let's put in A. Wow, look at that. They are parallel, people. So we are good with A. But man, that was sneaky tricky. I almost got tripped up on that one. All right, number 13. What is the value of K if the given equation has only one solution? Well, I've seen this come up quite a bit. It actually came up on my June 2024 test, and it's come up again since. K has to be 0 because if you have an absolute value equal to 0, you'll only get one solution out of it. Because remember, when you go to solve for an absolute value, what happens is you have it set equal to the positive answer and to the negative answer. But remember, positive and negative 0 is still just 0. So you'll get the same thing either way. It doesn't matter if there's a 25 out front. We would divide that out anyways to the other side. And 0 divided by 25 is still 0. Anyways, the answer is 0 however you slice it and dice it. So just remember this in case you see it come up. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, guys, I come out with free SAT videos every single week to show you how to score a 1590 just like I did. So make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on videos that are helpful just like this one. All right, let's look at 14. We have in the given system of equations, K is a constant. If the system has no solution, what is the value of K? Again, we want there to be parallel lines. What's nice is there's only one constant, so we'll just put it in Desmos instead of slider for it and move K around till the lines are parallel. All right, I'm going to move my line. Okay, now I'm getting stuck, so I need to change my parameters. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this. I'm going to change my parameters from like 10 to 100. That way I can move the slider more. It's hard to do on the iPad. Let's go to 15. Boom. With 15, they're perfectly parallel. There will be no solution. There you go. All right, let's look at the next one, number 15. In the xy plane, the graph of the given equation is a circle. What point lies on the circle? Be very careful, guys, because a lot of you are going to pick A because you'll see the center's at negative 5, 9. Now, come on, guys. Is the center on the circle? Absolutely not. So we cannot pick A. The center is inside the circle. I would be gravitating towards C or D because they look really similar. What I'm going to do is graph the circle in Desmos, type in C and D, and find out which one's on the circle. Okay, as you can see, the black dot is way outside the circle right now. So let me make some changes and try D. And there you have it. D is the right answer. We have the black dot right on the circle. That's the one we need. If you're finding this video helpful so far, show me some love, hit the like button below. Let's move on to number 16. We have the area of a triangle is equal to x squared square inches. The base of the triangle is 7 plus 2x, and the height is x minus 3. Well, clearly you need the area of a triangle formula. If you don't know that by heart, it is on the reference sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and map this out. Area is 1/2 base times height. X squared is 1/2, base is 7 plus 2x. Height is x minus 3. I'm going to go ahead and FOIL this. So we've got 7 times x, that's 7x. 2x times x, that's plus 2x squared. 7 times negative 3 is minus 21. 2x times negative 3 is minus 6x. That's all times 1/2. And that's going to equal x squared. Now I can distribute the 1/2 to all the terms. So we have 3.5x plus x squared minus 10.5 minus 3x. That equals x squared. Now the x squareds are going to cancel because we would subtract them away. Let me add the 10.5 to the other side. So I'm going to have 10.5 equals 0.5x, because 3.5x minus 3x is 0.5x. We're going to divide by 0.5, which essentially doubles the number. So I end up with 21. All right, let's move on to number 17. We have a circle in the xy plane has its center at 5, negative 4, and is a radius of 10. Then they give us an equation where a, b, and c are constants. What is the value of c? You could solve this by hand. You could write out the circle equation, distribute, FOIL. Oh my gosh, that's going to take forever. What if I told you on number 17, you can actually run a regression because you know 3 points on the circle, and that's how many you need to establish a curve. You can't do a regression on 2 points for a circle because that just makes a straight line, but I can figure out 3 points. Let me show you how. If I have a center at 5, negative 4, the radius is 10. So if I go this direction 10 units, I'm going to be at a point on the circle at 15, negative 4. Let me go up 10 units. Now I'm going to be at a point on the circle that's at 5, 6. If I go to the left 10 units, I'm going to be at a point on the circle that's negative 5, negative 4. Awesome. We have 3 points. We know the equation. It's regression time. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is put my values into a table. Okay, then on the next line, I'm going to type my equation in regression format. And I have to use y1s and x1s instead of y's and x's so that it'll pull from the values in the table, because you'll see the x column is an x1 column and the y1 is the y column is a y1 column. I also need to use a tilde instead of an equal sign to tell Desmos to run a regression. And by the way, I should not have set that equal to y1. That was silly. The equal sign is at the end, so I'm going to go tilde 0. And look at, they give us beautifully the A, the B, and the C. So in this case, they're asking for C, which is negative 59. All right, let's look at number 18. It says sphere A has a radius of 6x and sphere B has a radius of 90x. The volume of sphere B is how many times the volume of sphere A? This is a classic geometry type question on the SAT because they're testing your knowledge of scalar multiples in different dimensions. A radius is one-dimensional. So we're going to find out if we go from 6x to 90x, what we have to multiply by, and it's actually 15. So a one-dimensional scalar multiple, the length of the height, the length of the radius, those are 15 times bigger in radius b. But they want to know how many times bigger is the volume. Volume, guys, is three-dimensional. So I have to take my scalar multiple and cube it, and that'll get me how many times bigger the volume is. And 15 cubed is 3,375. So that's what you're going to grid in as your answer. All right, just two more. Hang with me. So we've got 1 gallon of paint costs $79. I know you guys have seen one like this in the question bank or on a Blue Book test, right? And we'll cover 48 square feet of wall. The walls in a given room have a total surface area of S square feet. I like to use nice numbers and make S into a number so I can figure out how much it's going to cost me first. I'll just say the room is 48. That's easy because now I know if I need to cover the walls twice, it costs me $79 to cover a 48 square foot wall once. So it's going to cost me $158 to cover it twice. So now all I need to do is put 48 in for S into all the answers till I get 158. And in C, I end up getting 158 because I get 79 times 2. So the answer is going to be C. Use some nice numbers because otherwise this gets really confusing and feels very vague and ambiguous. Make it concrete, find an actual amount, and then use that same number for S or whatever the constant is in the answers till you get the same result. All right, this one's a biggie. And, just because I'm a creature of habit, honestly, on your test, instead of them being T's, they're going to be R's. So I'm going to change this to an R. I'm going to change this to an R, this to an R, this to an R, before I type them in, because let's just make it feel official, right? When you see a system of equations and then they have R's in the coordinates and the answers, this is a straight Desmos question. The first thing that I want you to be aware of is that these two equations, they are going to be infinite in nature. So all you need to do is type in one of the equations because they're going to be the same line. So I'm going to type in 6x plus 4y equals 9, and then I'm going to type in each set of coordinates underneath and use a slider for R. Whatever one runs along the line is the correct answer. All right, let's test this one. Oh my gosh, we got so lucky. The answer is A. See how it runs up and down the line so nicely? Let me show you what a wrong answer would look like. So I will change it to B. Okay, now you can see that the dot doesn't run along the line. See how it runs like in an opposite direction? So as long as the dot runs nicely up and down the line, that's going to be your correct answer. And I'll tell you, that Desmos hack is way easier than trying to solve this by hand. Trying to solve this by hand, if you use like the intercepts or the zeros, sometimes two answers will be right. It becomes a mess. So the cleanest way definitely is to use Desmos. All right, guys. Comment below and let me know how many questions you got right out of these 10 I just covered today. And if you want to go into more depth on the math concepts covered on the SAT, which includes like all of our Desmos lessons, Blue Book walkthroughs, we have a great math self-paced course. And you can get $50 off at checkout if you use the promo code 50OFF. So I will link up here right now. Don't forget to grab our free math workbook. You can get that by subscribing to our email list. I will also link up here so you can get our free math workbook to practice more questions that are just as tricky as these ones so that you're ready for your next test. All right, that's it for now. Until next time, guys, happy prepping.